Hello everyone. In today's session, we are going to discuss about IP address. So let's discuss about what is an IP address. Okay. So IP address is nothing but it is Internet Protocol Address, and it is a unique numerical label that is assigned to every device which is connected to a network. And also this IP address helps to identify a device in a network in order to locate the device and also enables the communication between the devices. For an example, 192.168.1.1. This represents the IP address and this belongs to class C. So that class ranges we'll discuss in the upcoming sessions. So this IP address, for an example, if you take in a network, so no two devices will have a same IP address. Okay, it cannot have a same IP address. And this IP address contains four numbers, that is four octets, each separated by dots, that is ranging from 0 to 255. So totally this IP v4 is having 32-bit address long. So each octet is having 8 bits. Okay. So for an example, if you take a real-time example, when you open a website, your computer uses IP addresses to find and communicate with the web server. So why this IP addresses are important? So in order to identify devices uniquely, to sends and receives data correctly, to supports internet communication, and also it is used in networking, security, and routing. For an example, if your mobile phone has an IP that is connected to Wi-Fi or mobile data, so easily we can locate our device using this IP address. So in this session, we are discussing about IPv4 address. So we have IPv4 and v6, but we are discussing about IPv4 addresses. So IPv4 addresses are divided into 5 classes based on the network size and its usages. So let's discuss about. So totally we have 5 classes: class A, B, C, D, and E, and its usage. So class A, it is used in very large networks. Likewise, class B, it is used in medium networks. Class C, used for small networks. Class D for multicasting, and class E for experimental purposes. So mostly we will be using this class A, B, and C. Now, let's discuss about IP address class ranges. Okay, so these are the classes, and this is starting range, ending range, and default subnet mask. So for class A, the starting range is 1.0.0.0 and its ending range is 126.255.255.255. So actually its default subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. So this class A, it is having one network ID and the remaining all these are the host IDs. So class B, starting range is 128 and ending range is 191. So the default subnet mask for class B is 255.255.0.0. Okay, so two network ID and two host ID we have. Likewise for class C, 192 to 223. Range is 192 to 223. And the default subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. That is, this class C is having three network IDs and only one host ID. And class D, 224.0.0.0, the range is from 224 to 239 and it is used for multicasting purpose. Likewise, class C range starts from 240 to 255 and it is reserved, that is for experimental purpose. So mostly this class D and E we won't allocate. So this is for multicasting and for research purpose it is allocated. And the remaining class A, B and C we will be using. So these are the ranges 1 to 126, 128 to 191, 192 to 223. So these are the default subnet masks. That is class A is having only one network ID, remaining are host IDs. Class B, two network ID and two host ID. And class C, three network ID and only one host ID. And we are going to discuss about classful addressing, that is types of addressing. So we have classful and classless. Let's discuss about classful addressing. So classful addressing is an IP addressing method where IP addresses, each class has a predefined network part and host part. That is, it is a predefined network part and host part we will have in classful addressing. So characteristics are, it has fixed subnet mask, so no flexibility, and here wastes of IP addresses will be wasted. That is, since in classful addressing we have only the fixed network. And also it is easy to understand and implement. So these are divided into fixed classes, that is A, B, C, D, and E. So all these are coming under classful addressing. And here more IP addresses will be wasted in classful addressing. In addressing, it removes fixed classes and it allows flexible allocation of IP addresses using CIDR. CIDR is nothing but classless interdomain routing. It uses prefix length, that is slash n, to define network size. Here the network size will be defined, whereas in classful addressing, that is predefined. Network size is predefined. So here the characteristics are, it is a flexible subnet sizes, efficient IP usage, it reduces the wastages of IP addresses, and it used in modern networks. So some flexible are there in classless addressing compared to classful addressing. So these are the comparison from classful to classless. So with the features. So network division in classful addressing, it has fixed classes, whereas in classes it is flexible. So in classful addressing, we'll have the fixed class like A, B, C, D, and E. Subnet mask, it is also default only. Here custom mask. Then IP utilization, classful addressing, more IP will be wasted. But here in classless, uh, that is reduced and it is efficient here. Then scalability, classful it is limited, whereas in classless it is high. Usage, classful old networks, classless are used in now modern networks. Now you are going to discuss about classful addressing problems. So first problem is a device in a class C network that has been assigned an IP address 192.168.17.9. Now we're going to find the number of addresses in the block, first address and last address. Likewise, for second question, we have an address in a block is 185.28.17.9. So here also we're going to find the number of addresses in the block, first address and the last address. And third one, a company follows class A for their internal network. Then IP address it is given 10.200.240.4. Here also again you're going to find the number of addresses in the block, first address and the last address. So the third question, it is given the given IP addresses belongs to class A because it is following the class range 10. Likewise, when you take the first question 192, so this IP will belongs to class C network. Likewise, second question, this address 185, so this range is falls under class B. Now let's see how to solve these problems. So our first problem is the given IP is 192.168.17.9. So this is so by seeing the class range, this IP address belongs to class C. Okay. So if it is class C means we obviously know that class C it is having three network ID and one host ID. So what will be the default subnet mask? So the default subnet mask for class C is 255.255.255.0. Okay. So now we are that is the number of address. So here we have only one host ID. So how to find the number of addresses, total number of addresses? So total number of addresses is 2 power 8. That is 256. Now we are going to find the number of usable address. Number of usable address. That is 256. Total number of address minus 2. That is, this 2 means, I'll tell you, first address and last address mostly will not be allocated for any devices. So first address, it is obviously for, it is our network address, and the last address will be our broadcast address. So excluding these two addresses, the remaining addresses will be allocated for the devices. So 256 minus that is called, so that is why we are subtracting 2 here. So to find the number of usable address. So 256 minus 2 is 254. So these are the usable IP address. Okay. Now the given the range. So the first address is always be the network address. Okay. First address is always for network address, that is 192.168.17.0, and the last address, so last address is always broadcast address, that is 192.168.17.255. So this is network address and this is our broadcast address. So the in between addresses we are going to allocate for the given host. Okay, that is the next address. So 192.168.17.1 to 192.168.17.254. So these are the usable IPs. Can be allocated for the devices. Okay. So here the given IP is class C. So we know obviously the class C is having 3 network ID and 1 host ID. So that from that we can easily find the total number of addresses 2 power 8, that is 256. And the default subnet mask is also we know. And the number of usable address, total number of address minus 2. 2 is nothing but the network address and the broadcast address, that those IP address will not be allocated for any devices. So total number of address minus 2, that is 254. And also the first network address is 192.168.17.0, and the last address will be 192.168.17.255. So the remaining usable IP that can be allocated for any devices. That is, the range is 192.168.17.1 to 192.168.17.254. Okay. So the next given the next IP in our question, it is given as 185.28.17.9. So so this range, it is for falling under class B. So class B means obviously we know we have 2 network ID and 2 host ID. So what is the default subnet mask for this? Default subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Okay. Now again, we are going to find the total number of addresses. So total number of addresses is 2 power 16. So the value 65536. Now how to find the number of usable address? Number of usable addresses is equal to total minus 2. That is 65536 minus 2 is 65534. So these many number of addresses can be allocated for the host. Now the first address is network address. So what will be your network address? 185.28.17.0. Sorry, network address 0.0. Okay. So next is broadcast address 185.28.255.255. Okay. So the next range is from 185.28.0.1 to 185.28.255.254 like that. Okay. Okay, next our third problem. The third IP address is 10.200.240.4. So in question itself, it is given and this belongs to class A. Okay. So this comes under class A. Class A means obviously we have one network address, network ID, and the remaining all are host ID. Okay. So then what is the default subnet mask for this? It is 255.0.0.0. Okay, now how to find the number of addresses? Number of addresses 2 power 8, 16, 24. 2 power 24. The value can compute 16, 7, 216. Okay. Now to find the number of usable address. So number of usable address, total number of address minus 2. So 16,777,216 minus 2, that is okay. So for network address and broadcast address. So what will be your network address? 10.0.0.0. Broadcast address 10.255.255.255. Okay. So this is the first address and last address. So these two addresses will not be allocated for any devices. So they made it the next step. For example, 10.0.0.1. So that will be allocated for the first system, first host. Okay. So, so in this in classful addressing, many IPs will be wasted because since it is a fixed network range. Okay. So here, for example, if you want to use for a minimum number of system, the whole IP address will be allocated, but only few are required. So in that case, most of the IPs will be wasted in the classful addressing. So for that reason, we are going for classless addressing, that is more flexible when compared with the classful addressing. Hope you have understood about classful addressing in this session. We'll discuss about classless addressing in our next session. Thank you.